What is up, party people? We got a new episode of the What's Your Why podcast out today with Javier Sanchez. He's one of my really good friends I made out in Columbus. He's my OG rock climbing partner. And on this episode, we just kind of talk through all things Javier, what he's doing, his journey diving into photography and outdoor photography, and then some of our previous climbing trips, and yes, ultimately about kind of mental space and attitude towards exercise and kind of getting him back on track towards that. So hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you like it, share it, or give it a review on Apple or Spotify, and look forward to some merch coming soon. Thank you. Well, what's new? We haven't talked for a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, right at the top of my head, nothing new. Well, I came back from Spain Sunday. That's new.
Yeah, how was Spain? That
Oh,
was like a wild
that
trip.
was, that was awesome. It was good.
What were you doing there? Just hanging out with a buddy, or?
Yeah, me and my best friend, we went there like Lorenzo. And we've been planning to travel. Like we've been friends for 8 years, and we'd actually never traveled alone, like one on one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, let's go to Spain. And like we were there for 10 days, and man, it was pretty good. Like bars close up at 5, 6 in the morning. Like
Whoa.
everybody's just walking around. There's a lot of like scenery and everything you could see. There's a lot of people. It's super safe to walk alone, like at 3, 4 a.m. through Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia, which were the places we were. So man, we really loved it.
Really? Like, so what else did you do while you're there? Were you just partying the whole time, or?
Well, that was mainly what we did, but no, well, like we went to different sceneries, and we tried to museums. Like we tried to go to museums, but there were a lot of people, so we tried to stay away from them. We just basically
Mhm.
looked at the architecture, looked at the different parks and scenery. We talked to people, a lot of people. We were surprised on how much Latino community is present in Spain,
Mhm.
and we just like travel around. Like we were with the jet lag, we were waking up at 2 probably like 11 2 ish, having lunch around
Mhm.
3, and like since everything closed late, we were basically up until 5 6 a.m., and then like which was like 10 a.m. here, and we basically were active the whole time, just meeting people. We did what is called couch surfing. I don't know if you heard of it.
Mm-mm.
Couch surfing is a platform that basically travelers. The main purpose is to find a couch to stay in when you're traveling, but the truly main purpose is to actually like interact with local people and like get that cultural exchange, create new friendships, and just like get the inside scoop of what those local people like do, how they live, and what their culture is like. So we
Is that an
use that
app, or?
platform. Yeah, it's called couch surfing.
That's pretty dope. Never used something
Yeah,
like
it was
Airbnb,
our
but
first
a lot
time.
more
Yeah,
personal.
exactly. It's an Airbnb, but it's like, well, you text someone, there's like a community within the app, and it's like, well, I have a couch available. Like, we can
Mhm.
go hang out. Like, I play tennis, I go hiking. Like, okay, let's do all that. So you stay with that person, and you kind of create that friendship from there.
That's super cool.
And it's
So
completely free.
really, like you don't
Yeah, I
pay
mean,
somebody to stay at their place?
you pay like $2, I think, for like monthly subscription. But like other than that, I believe that same with the person is like free, and they offer your couch in exchange to hanging out with you and stuff like that.
Damn, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, that's
Um, since you left Ohio, what have you been doing? What you went home for a while, correct? It's
yeah,
been a
I
while.
did. Yeah, I did go home. Like after that, like I was getting ready to go to the fellowship to Uganda, and I was
Hmm.
home for 2 months waiting for that. And all in the midst of the pandemic and COVID,
Yeah.
I get getting postponed. So I said, well, I'll just enjoy the time back home, stay with my parents, stay home, like relax a little bit after a stressful year in Ohio. And stressful in my head because it wasn't stressful at all. But uh, it was nice to relax. And after that, like I was there for 6 months, and the fellowship kept getting postponed over and over and over, and got to the point of October, which I said, well, I need to start looking for other options because I mean I can't stay a whole year waiting for them,
Hmm.
just waiting for a response to go. So I decided to start applying for jobs, and one of the jobs that I applied was soil conservationist with the Department of Agriculture, and that's the job I'm currently in right now in Virginia.
So how's Virginia been?
Oh man, Virginia is awesome. Like this, like I was not expecting Virginia to be so wild in the sense like you have hiking, you have biking. There's so much things to do outdoors, and also in the small town I live in, it's like 7,000 people, and
Hmm.
but like it's a really small town. Like you don't have, there's not a lot to do, but at the same time, there's just enough that you can go to out to restaurants, like go grab a beer. There's a bunch of wineries, there's a bunch of breweries. There's a but everything's relatively close. Like there's probably more than 50 hikes in less than an hour drive. So there's constantly a lot of stuff to do. You're close to the Appalachian Trail, that
Hmm.
close to the Blue Mountain Ridge. Like you're close to the Shenandoah National Park. You're close to the Monongahela New River Gorge. It's like 3 hours. So
Okay.
it's very local. Like, and
Yeah. Do you have a vehicle yet, or are you still biking everywhere?
no, I actually got a vehicle. I think it was late August, but I've
Okay.
been with a vehicle 4 months now. Yeah.
And so now you've gotten into birding, it looks like.
Oh yeah, birding, wildlife. Oh, I got into birding once I got here because as you probably know, I bought the lens and the camera to go like take pictures of wildlife in Uganda. That never happened, so I still had the camera
Hmm.
and the lens. So it's like, well, might as well like get get a good use of it. So like since everything's very rural, there's a trail here which is called the Chessie Trail, which I'm almost there almost every weekend.
Hmm.
It's right next to the river, Maury River, which is kind of like kind of similar to the Olentangy Trail in Ohio.
Yeah. Hmm.
So like the only difference here is like it's wilder. You get a bunch of deer. Like yesterday, well Sunday, I saw two golden eagle, bald eagles just flying like over the river. That was awesome. I was not able to take a picture, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of where I started getting into birding. Like I need a hobby. I didn't have a car, but back then I just had my bike and the camera, so it's like that's right where I started.
I've seen a lot of your pictures and they look really, really good, but what has the learning curve been like for editing and whatnot?
Oh man, it's been pretty big. Like from where I started and compared to now, I mean, I still have a lot to learn. But just seeing my first pictures and like in terms like how sharp that background is, how sharp those pictures are, like the eye of the birds, the eye of the wildlife. It's like I feel like I've come a long way. It's just like wow, this is the world that I did not know I was going to get into this
Hmm.
deep, and I honestly I love it. It's kind of like going out. I kind of kill two birds with one stone. I go out for a hike, but at the same time I bring my camera. So it's like if I see something, I stop and I take pictures and keep going. It's like therapy, honestly, for me. Like
Hmm.
if when once I get bored, it's like okay, let's go hiking, and I bring my camera. It's a good workout because the lens is like 8 pounds and the camera is like 3 pounds, and then I get my backpack and everything else, so it gets pretty heavy once I like take everything.
Hmm.
So it's like I like to think of it like I get a light workout at the same time I'm taking pictures, and at the same time I just like getting my mind off of work and life.
How's work been? You working like 40 hours a week or
Yeah,
how's that going?
yeah. I'm a full time right now, and honestly, my work it's pretty cool. So as a soil conservationist, the work basically consists of helping farmers, giving them technical advice. Like if a farmer or a client comes into our door, into our office, like saying, I have this farm, X amount of acres, like, and I have this problem on my farm. Like for example, like my cows are getting into the river and they're affecting water quality, or I have a bunch of trees that it's just like overgrown and nothing's growing underneath, so there's not a lot of wildlife diversity. So we have a different. They come into our office and we have a different type of programs, which have in turns different type of practices that can
Mhm.
help them uh, protect their natural resources. And since we're the federal government, they have to meet some specs and and so they have to meet some specs and they have to meet some requirements. But after that, like we can create a contract like that. Say lifespan is 5 years, and we can, for that example, fence out the cattle out of the creek. We can get you that tree establishment, like tree struck tree, yeah, the tree establishment. We can do some timber harvest. We can do some uh native wildlife pollinator habitat, and you name it. We have a bunch of practices that protect the natural resources, and it's pretty fun to just go out, see the different farms, and like beautiful farms. They're huge farms here, super nice people too. So it's pretty wild just to go. Like you never know. Like we went to work Monday, somebody came in. Like we schedule a site visit for Wednesday, and you're visiting one of the most beautiful farms you've seen in your whole life so far. It's pretty cool. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're in super rural Virginia.
Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Lexington is almost like I think probably an hour and a half from West Virginia, so it's pretty close.
Okay. So it's pretty mountainous or for Appalachia.
Yeah,
Um
compared to
that's cool.
Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, compared to Columbus, compared to Fargo, it's probably like fucking nuts. We're flat as hell here.
Yeah,
Um and it's getting super cold here.
I
Which
saw that. I saw your post this
sucks.
morning, which I don't know how you just have like that jacket, and I mean,
Well,
I have
that
like
was at my
four
office
sleeves.
building.
I have
No, I
like
just
four
stepped
like
outside and it was a quick video. I don't know. Saturday was like -2, and that was the coldest it's been so far. But
already.
it'll get down to -40 probably. But
I was thinking of visiting you, but now.
it's sweet here. It's sweet for a social visit. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and I think it was my dad actually, because he had just come to visit Fargo for the first time in a long while.
Okay.
But Fargo's super fun. Say you're coming for something like maybe a conference where all you're doing is meeting and maybe going out for dinner or drinks afterwards, or you're coming to socially visit with somebody.
Yeah.
Fargo's perfect for that because it has super nice coffee shops. It has super nice breweries. It has like cocktail bars. It has everything you need for like a social visit, as in like alcohol or coffee. But where we lack, and I heard on the radio the other day, is any like recreation, like physical
Okay.
recreation, because there's like an arcade and there's fitness centers, but there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. There's no mountains. There's hardly any like uh city trails like the metro parks in Columbus. How nice
Yeah.
those were. We have nothing like that.
Oh. Okay.
And I hardcore miss those because you're able to go to a city park, but it feels like you're in the middle of a state park.
Yeah.
Feels like you're in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, which was super nice. But besides that, like for day to day life, Fargo was pretty easy, except it gets really cold,
Yeah.
which is
That's a
pretty
big
funny
hat.
to go downtown in Fargo, like go to the bars and like say uh, New Year's Eve when everybody's out
Mm-hmm.
partying, and then there's just girls in like the skimpiest of outfits, but it's -20 degrees outside. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is the dumbest thing you could possibly be doing right now.
Hey,
But
here it was 35, and I saw people in shorts, and it's like, why? Like, why?
I don't know. I feel like so we'll warm back up, say March. Um, It'll get to 30 degrees and you'll see people in shorts right away. People go
Mm-hmm.
running and they're in shorts, short shorts and a t-shirt. But it
Yeah.
feels because 30 degrees is 70 degrees warmer than it gets every winter here. And so we get down to -40 every year. And so it's just stupid cold here.
Yeah.
But everything doesn't work in the winter then your car doesn't want to start. But it just happens, I guess. Um
I just wonder who, like, when the sellers came in, it's like, oh, you know what? Like, it's cold as hell here. Let's just build a house here and stay here. It's like we don't need to go less like down south.
I honestly feel like the only reason Fargo is here is because there was probably some like Native American settlement here a long time ago, and uh, people just took over that settlement and developed it into a city,
Hmm.
or it was just a way to get products from like this area to Canada, because there's a river that flows north to Canada here, and I could see that being a reason. But beyond that, like there's not much appeal unless you're looking for really good soil for one
No, that
harvest a
makes sense.
year.
Yeah.
We do have some of the best soil in the world, like dark, black, rich soil. But beyond that, it's just us in Wisconsin are just known for boozing. Like we're the
Yeah.
number 1 and 2 binge drinking states, and that's what we're known for. But beyond that, I don't know. It's a good enough city. I would like to leave it at some point to move to somewhere mountainous. I
Yeah,
want to be able to climb and trail run.
I remember you told me that, and I think there was a podcast with Aaron that you talked a little bit about that too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've probably said it many times, but there's something to being able to just go out your door and run up a trail. I think,
Hmm.
or like within a 20-minute drive. The closest mountain to us right now is 10 hours away.
10 hours.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
We can get to some really, really good trail running within 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, if you want to say really good. But yeah, anything like with big elevations, a minimum 5, or no, a minimum 4.5 to like really good trails, 10 hours to a mountain, pretty
Wow.
much. So that it kind of sucks, but it has its ups and downs. Low taxes, whatever. There's a job here for me right now, so I can't
Hey, I'm guessing
complain.
the wildlife, what I hear, it's pretty good there. Like you get
Well,
a bunch of mooses and everything.
not here. That'd be more north of here. Go to like where my parents are from in northern Minnesota. There's moose up
Okay.
there. Um, we're plains here, so we have like really good deer hunting, really good like if you get to the lakes that are close by, it's some pretty good fishing and whatnot. But mostly just deer are in this area.
But
We
do
do
you
have a
have
lot
like,
of waterfowl, like
okay,
birds, whatnot,
do
that
you have
go.
thick woods?
No, no, no. It's
No.
just it's flat farmland. Where
Okay.
it's as flat as you've ever seen.
Yeah, I
If you look
remember.
across the ocean, it's flat.
Hmm.
It's flatter here. There's no
I
waves.
remember. I remember you saying that when we took that trip to New River Gorge. It was
Oh yeah.
like people had to put like curbs on purpose on the highway just so that
Mm-hmm.
people didn't fall asleep. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was wild.
Yeah. Are you looking to do something with like your photography? Like, would you like to turn that into
So
like something that you like dive down into, or?
actually, I recently finished my first wedding, so I'm looking to actually go into the wedding market and start. I'm working on like my website, creating the that Instagram page and everything for the
Mm-hmm.
wedding and like weddings, portraits, events, like even quinceañeras. Like that's something we do big back home. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end, to be completely honest, like I want to build that business because there's a lot of people. I'm very social and I like to like interact with people and like I like to have fun too. So like
Mm-hmm.
having that experience to actually be the photographer and be behind the scenes of what a party, a special moment in somebody's life has proven to be honestly very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect it to be. I was expecting it to be a little bit more frustrating, and I don't know if it's because Garrett and Brittany, which were my first couple, were so awesome. That I was basically within the party, within the wedding, having fun all the time. And I really like that. And all my shoots so far have been like that. I mean, I'm shooting some portraits, friends, and other folks, and it's been always like a very funny interaction since the beginning. Like we become big good friends, and like I kind of want to explore that a little bit more. So that's why I'm trying to start that business.
That's cool. Um, I think photography is so cool, and you could say photography or videography, just capturing the moments, whatever. Um, but it seems so complex to actually get like, the high quality photos and whatnot.
Well, I would say this probably because now I have a little bit of practice, but like it is complex. But nowadays, like taking a good picture, it's like anybody can do it with how good the quality of cameras are out there.
Mhm.
I think the the key point here, like on being successful within a business of wedding photography or any business at all, is probably the quality and customer service you offer. Like what makes you like, you know, shine compared to the other people that are doing the same business.
Yeah, that makes
And that's
sense.
something, yeah, that's something I've seen because nowadays anybody can take good pictures. If not, anybody can do a good edit and learn. I mean, I've learned everything in YouTube, and it's
Hmm.
been increased my skill pretty good. And I still have a lot to learn still, but like I think that's the key to starting a good business is like getting a good structure, getting the customer service like where you need it, and like actually like having that key communication from the start, from with your clients and everything
Hmm.
that
Oh,
entails, you know.
YouTube has everything.
Yeah. It's the best tool nowadays. Like you can learn anything you want.
Hmm. And like I'm learning that more and more, especially with like this podcast thing. Like tips for posting, for editing,
Hmm.
for fixing your videos, or for some reason there's different types of like camera versus audio equipment. And
Yeah.
if your camera equipment isn't as nice as your audio equipment, then it's gonna be completely off, which I
Yeah.
don't get, which is just
Yeah, it's
why would
crazy.
how do you change time?
Hmm.
That's what I don't get. But whatever.
Yeah, it's
uh
crazy. I mean, once if you get like uh, the gear that's right enough, like beginner, like intermediate ish, like level,
mhm.
you can really kick off when you compare like something that's probably on the cheaper side. Just like how I started, I bought a camera like in the cheaper end. Like I started polish my skills a little better, and then I got into a better gear, which is still a little bit intermediate, like slash advanced a little bit, and that's where I saw like the improvement. So
Mhm.
that's like when you hear like, yeah, everybody can take a picture, everybody can take a picture. Yeah, you need to practice and like get everything down to the like the minute details. Like be quick with your shutter speed, be quick with your aperture, be quick with your triangle exposure. But at the same time, it's like, well, practice and practice. At the end, just though that practice is gonna pay off.
Yeah, that's with
Yeah.
everything though, right?
Yep.
Just
Yep.
working in some way. um
Yeah.
do
I
you
think the
think like
hardest.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
I think the hardest thing is like we can get motivated like every now and then, but
Hmm.
creating like getting that momentum from that motivation and creating that discipline is the hardest part. Like,
Yeah, 100%. I'm listening
yeah,
to David Goggins came out with a new book
I need
today,
to listen to that one. And
and so I'm
was that
stoked.
today?
Yeah, it came out this morning. I'm already like 2 hours into it. But
Oh man.
if I would have gone for a run today, I would have been further. But which is definitely the antithesis of the book. But I prioritize some work and this today. But
Hmm.
the his whole message is that motivation is crap, and then if you're able to get that discipline to keep going, or him or Jocko, just
Yeah.
that's what's actually bringing you success, and kind of like repetitive and staying on schedule and constantly working towards it is what's going to actually help you out.
Yeah. And I think that if you complement that with like having that discipline, but also like
Hmm.
establishing a good system of habits, it's goes a
Hmm.
long way. Like I remember when I was in Ohio and you were trying to like get me to run. like
Mm-hmm.
all the time, trying to get me like if people that are listening, Ty was like my physical training for a
It's like a
while.
month.
Yeah, like a month. And like he got me into running and like you need to do this pace, this pace, this pace. And honestly, I was running and I started like running a mile and I would probably
Mm-hmm.
die after a couple of months, like with Ty's training and also like hearing that book of David Goggins, like creating that discipline. I was able to
Mm-hmm.
get from 1 to 8 miles pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
definitely did a really good job over the month. We call it Javier's month of fuckery is the name of the Excel
Yeah.
spreadsheet I had.
Yeah.
Did you stick with it at all? Are you still physically
To be completely honest, I'm physically active. I stopped for 2 months after for 2 months prior to I got my wisdom teeth removed. I decided, well, I'm gonna rest for 2 weeks, and that 2 weeks turned into 2 months. And like,
happens? Followed a
yeah,
routine.
yeah, I lost the routine and everything. So after I was training, I was doing P90X for I
Mm-hmm.
think it was 3 4 months once I got here
Okay.
in Virginia, and like I was starting to see like change. I lost like 20 pounds, and I was starting to like get a little bit, start to get a little bit cut myself, see some muscles in, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's when the surgery came in, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna rest. Yeah, and that's after 2 months. I like it's not that I lost everything, but at the same time, like, now I do the exercise back again. It's like, wow, I can't do 5 10 push-ups like it was nothing like I was doing 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It's like building back that discipline again, building back that routine.
You're doing
It's
really good for a while. You're doing like 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups a day.
oh well, that more or less, yeah, with P90X, yeah.
Well, when we did our month in Ohio,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. I'm
I
trying to get to that stage of physical activeness again. Like
I can make you a program if you want it.
I
Same with
was
anybody
thinking
else out
about like
there.
texting you honestly, like just because I mean, to be completely honest, I bought a bench, I bought like a bar and everything. The
Uh-huh.
only thing is I haven't been able to find some weights, like some
Weights
plates.
are
Uh,
expensive. I
yeah,
have
they're
some
super
some
expensive.
broken ones here if you want them.
Like
I
plates,
Yeah, plates like
yeah,
bumper plates.
like man, my roommate bought some 45s, and to be completely
Okay.
honest, I can probably do like minimum sets, and that's what I've been doing because without a spotter, I think that I can't really do constant like
Mm-hmm.
go the next level with those 45s.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can get some 30s or something just to like start
Right
small and
on.
start building up.
Yeah. At least you're still doing something. Um, we were talking in the office. Well, actually, it's probably my brother-in-law and my sister, but about how much different your life can be if you just change like one small habit of just going for a walk
Yeah,
or adding trying to hit 5,000 steps in a day. How much better it can make you feel compared to just being completely sedentary.
yeah. Yeah, I think that with the habits, a book that really helped me. I know that when we were in Ohio, like other than exercising, we talked about developing the habit of reading.
Mm-hmm.
And like after reading David Goggins, like it's when I started like, you know, you can't hurt me, like starting to create that callous mind. It's like, well, that doesn't only apply to exercise. It's like it
Yeah,
applies
for
to your
sure.
life, it applies to everything. So just trying to like get the fundamentals. Like the other book that really helped me was Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read it.
It's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that book. Like doing that habit stacking has helped me a lot. I have a lot of problems with my phone. Like we talked about this probably
Yeah.
back in Ohio. I was like spending 9 10 hours in my phone. I was like, no, this has to stop. So I've been able to get it down to 4,
Mm-hmm.
and like more or less like start to exercise. I start to learn French. Like I had Duolingo on French since I was in Columbus,
Mm-hmm.
and now like once I was back home, I decided, well, this new year, 2022, I'm actually going to start. So far, I think I've had like 230-day streak, which is practicing
Oh,
every day.
that's really good.
So I'm creating those habits, like
Yeah.
habit stacking and being conscious, creating that callous mind something that takes on time, but at the same time helps you a lot, to move from that sedentary life you were talking
Hmm.
about to just like having a being mindful of what you're doing and like moving towards where you want to go.
I got Duolingo, I don't know, probably 9 months ago now, and I had like an 80-day streak, but
Oh,
now
that's
I'm
nice.
probably like on an 80-day streak of not doing it. So I've been struggling. I was learning Spanish.
Oh, cool.
We could have done it in Spanish if I would have kept my streak going, but you know, fuck that one up. Another guy I think you'd love is this guy Cameron Haynes. I don't know if
Mhm.
you follow him at all. He came with a book very similar to Goggins' book, Hard Life, and has kind of like found his way through endurance sports.
Is Cameron Haynes the one the hunts like elk and
Yeah,
everything?
he's the bow hunter, the elk
Yeah,
hunter. He's wild as well.
yeah, yeah. I remember you told me about him. I follow him on Instagram, and that
Oh
guy
yeah,
is like
yeah.
super fit. Like it's crazy.
He's a badass for sure.
Yeah.
I would like to do the races like he does, but my bitch ass has quit twice now, so it's whatever.
An ultra marathon is not easy, man. It's like
No, it's not.
I was going through that podcast and I was like I had so many emotions. Like I felt like I was there with you. Like, oh my God, like I did 8 miles and I wanted to die. Like you did 50. And I was like,
No, I didn't do 50. I got like 39 and 3/4 that
wait,
day.
oh God, I thought you got to 50.
No, so
Oh
the rate
man,
I did a
39.
50K
You
in
did a 50
May,
game. That's probably why.
and
Okay.
then the race was supposed to be 56 miles, and then my brother-in-law Troy and Cable, my sister, helped carry me off the race course
Yeah.
because
Um,
I was just locking up.
yeah, I saw
So
your picture afterwards since like your
it was pretty
cheekbones and
bad.
everything. It's jeez, that's
I did
crazy,
have
man.
some stubble, and my stubble grows in the spot that makes it look like
Uh-huh.
my cheeks are sunk in, and so I look skinnier than I actually was at the time. But it adds to the effect, so it was fun.
Yeah,
I remember it
that's
as a
crazy.
very positive experience because I didn't realize how bad the situation was,
Hmm.
and I didn't see what I looked like until the day after. And by the time I saw myself the day after, I'd gained 10 pounds back of
Sheesh.
what I lost. And so I was looking pretty good again. And I was
Hmm.
like had a ton of inflammation. So like my body felt great. I was on drugs. I was on not much drugs, just a little bit. I had 5 IV bags in me. I was feeling pretty good. So like all in all, it was a
Just
pretty good
five.
time.
Jeez,
But
that's crazy, man. Are you
the thing
planning
I
on
did,
doing anyone on near future?
like, I would like to do one this um winter sometime down south, but I just don't know if I'm gonna make it happen. Um, I'm gonna try to prioritize doing a climbing trip to like
Hmm.
Phoenix area or Las Vegas area in
Yeah.
February. I would love to do that. And maybe if there's a race that lines up over the dates I'm there, I might try to do it. But I also don't want to train here in the winter where I'm used to the cold
Yeah.
or a
And then go
treadmill
back down there.
or it's really gonna be really hot. And
Yeah.
so we were talking the other day and I saw a post for the same race that I did end of July. I'm pretty confident I'm gonna try it again this next year.
Oh, nice.
So third
And
time's a charm.
for this one, you didn't train, right? For like you
No, I
didn't.
definitely did train. I didn't train as much. My mileage wasn't as high as the year before,
Yeah.
but I'll try to work something out with my boss where I can run in the middle of the day because that's the only time you can get the heat training in.
Hmm.
But the year before I was running my runs would be from like noon to 2. And so perfect time to hit the heat. And then because we didn't have an office. And so I worked remote. And then the next year we had an office. And so I'd either run in the morning before work when it's cool or after work when it's cool. Um, and so it really kind of screwed with the training.
Hmm. Yeah.
But and it was also a cold summer for us. Um, usually like we would be pretty similar to like a Columbus summer,
Okay.
fairly warm. But it's like we were fairly cool It was very common to be in the 60s in the morning and only get to 75 for a high
Mhm.
for this summer. And then like the 2 weeks leading up to the race was the same thing. It was cool. I remember 2 Saturdays out, I did a 32-mile day, and the high for that day was like 71, which was not that hot. Didn't give me a
Mhm.
good scenario to train in. And then even the race course 2 days before was a high of 65. And then the day of in town was a high of 98.
Sheesh.
And then on the race course, it got up to 108 in a few different parts. So
That's
it
crazy,
was
man.
it was really hard to train for that. And I saunaed and whatnot quite a bit, but it didn't prepare for what I needed to
Oh
do.
no.
We'll
So,
get it again.
oh, yeah, you're getting. I'm pretty sure the third time's the charm. So it's like you're gonna. You did. Oh, you did more than half. So this time it's like
Oh, I did it. So
no
I got to the
pressure.
exact same point as my first attempt.
You did. Oh,
Yeah. So
that's
maybe
learning curve, man.
either way, it's a good run, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you learn. I mean, I think. Well, how many runs did David Goggins do to like until he was able to finish the ultra marathon? I think he did two and he almost died or something like that.
Well, yeah, he did he got it his first attempt.
He did.
He did one training. So he signed up for the race on Wednesday. I think he ran 6 miles that Wednesday. And then he didn't run again until the Saturday for the race.
Hmm.
And he's been doing strength training. So he was
Yeah,
close to
I remember that.
250 and then got it done, and that's a
Man, now I'm ashamed. I need to re-listen to the book a little bit more. I listened to it
well,
two
I've
times
listened to
running,
it
but
so many times. So
yeah, you probably know it like from cover to cover. So
pretty much. I next week I'm doing or actually I don't know if I'll get the book in time, but I want to do a podcast review where I'll read like a section of the book and then kind of talk through it, what I thought about how it relates to like maybe my life or a scenario I've
hmm.
seen before, and do a book review of the actual book and book review podcast, something like that. But I think it'd be a cool thing to do, especially with, I'm such a nerd for David Goggins. I'm a huge fan. Um, and so I think it'd be a fun podcast to do on my own. Fun little thought experiment as well.
That'll be pretty cool. Is that something you're looking to get into, like embedded into the podcast, like talking about a book, be in the beginning or at the end?
Well, I think I would like to. So the idea came from I'm doing a book review with one of my friends, Rob. He was on the
Hmm.
podcast, and we are both big fans of this book, About Face. And Rob does a book review every week on LinkedIn. And then I was like, hey, well, he thought of the idea, why not we do a podcast for About
Hmm.
Face? Because I did like a written review of About Face, but not like a podcast review.
Okay.
Obviously, I haven't done one before, but um, we thought about doing that where we like highlight some sections. We'll read a section in the words of the author, and then we'll talk through
Hmm.
it. His grandfather was actually on one of the same teams that the author of About Face was. It was
Cool.
a wild unit in Vietnam, so should be a cool book to review as well. We're gonna do that like
Was it
sometime in
called About Fate?
About Face.
Oh, Fate. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a military term for, I believe, like standing at attention.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so the guy had like 35 years in the military, served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So,
Oh,
pretty wild
yeah.
existence there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Just a badass life. He lied to get into the military at
Hmm.
15 years old. He lied about his age.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how
Hmm.
that works, but documents were a lot
Oh,
different back then.
that yeah, probably doesn't work like that anymore. But
No, no. Um, are you still climbing at all?
I have not. Like I have my gear here and everything, but
Mhm.
I've heard there's a couple like spots to climb here, but I haven't like explored them because I don't have a climbing buddy. Like it's been hard. It's been hard to
Hmm.
find somebody here in Lexington like that actually it's into climbing and like just go out there because in Columbus we had the wall and the and the rec
Yeah, you
and
could just go
on
find somebody
gym.
there.
Yeah. So like trying to find somebody here, it's like yeah, I
Do
can
they
go
not have
climbing on
a
my own.
wall anywhere in the city?
I think there's one in one of the colleges that's here, but I'm not sure if I as a like civilian can access it. So I
I
I,
bet you
I need to
could
try and figure it out.
maybe figure
Yeah.
it out. I think you should. I was going to invite you to come too, and now I am inviting you to come in February.
Yeah.
Um,
Down.
I want to go to either Phoenix or Las Vegas, one of the two. Just somewhere warm, somewhere warm with
Mm-hmm.
super easy access to climbing. Phoenix is so easy that the one spot I went was in the middle of the city.
Okay.
And it was only like a 10-minute hike to get to the actual climbing spot. So,
Yeah. I have a couple friends in Phoenix, so I can. I mean, we can double check for
mhm.
the those climbing stuff. And I have a friend that actually climbs there. Like she goes to a climbing gym.
Oh, right on.
Oh, mostly bouldering gym, but yeah. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, I'm members at a bouldering gym here in Fargo. One of like my girlfriend and I, mostly her friends, but kind of became my friends now too. Opened a gym just like 2 miles away from here, so a pretty
oh
sweet
cool.
spot to go to. I think I'm getting
Nice.
better. I don't know. I still feel like I fail most climbs, which I think most people fail most climbs. But
So
it's worth it.
are you still doing CrossFit or
Yeah, not as much as I would like to be doing, but I coach every week and I try to make it to at least 2 classes a week, but I haven't been to an actual class in probably 3 weeks. So I've been
okay?
slacking on that part. I've been doing a lot of jujitsu. That's like
Oh cool.
running and jujitsu are the two main things I've been doing.
Oh well, at least you substituted for something else. It's not just
Oh yeah.
slacking off.
I'm still busy, I'm still doing my thing.
Hey,
I've been trying to get
I
my
believe it.
mileage up again.
Editing a podcast takes time. So it's like,
Well, yeah, I skipped my lunch run to get yesterday to get the podcast edited that came out this morning.
hmm
That's a cool guy. George is a cool dude. He was I don't know if you listened to it at all, but he
I have on my list.
went hard into the guitar in like elementary school and became a rocker, traveled
hmm
around New York City, and then joined the military, became like as high up as he could get. It was a peacetime for the military, so it was really hard to get promoted and whatnot. As so he says, and did everything he could there to become like the best soldier he could. And then now,
hmm
last 20 plus years, he's been doing jujitsu, and pretty wild story. Like one of the first black belts in the U.S. is like his instructor,
Wow.
and then he started the school here in Fargo, and been pretty freaking sweet. He asked me if I want to start like shadowing to become a coach, which will be a little bit more of my time taken out. But I think it'd be super cool to learn how to coach something that's so foreign to me. And I've been doing it for over a year now, since last 2 August ago. But it's like I lifted forever, and jujitsu is so new to me that it's pretty cool to learn all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me like last one of the last times we spoke, like you were getting into it. So it's like
Mhm.
pretty cool to see that you're still into it and like planning on getting deeper into it too.
Yeah, I don't know. My schedule's not gonna like it. My boss won't like that. He already thinks I don't spend enough time at work, even though I work like 38 hours a week. And I play a lot of we play bags in our office, and I take all his money, so he wants me to work more. But I just had a really good
That's
meeting
probably
today
why.
that'll bring him a lot of money, so it's okay.
Yeah. So how's that
But
going?
yeah,
Has that like is the business good since the last time we
the
talked? Like
business is doing very well. I have some accounts that are doing really well, so it's all good. It's just pretty boring. It's logistics. It's not the most
mhm.
exciting job in the world. The things that keep me sane is doing this podcast, doing running, lifting, and jujitsu. But yeah, I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
cool.
It's a good time, and Taco, of course.
Oh yeah. How's
But
Taco
yeah,
doing?
he's good. He's always hanging out with Biscuit, my girlfriend's dog. So um they're thriving together.
That's
Biscuit's a little
good.
mean, but she has small dog syndrome, I think.
Small dust signal.
Yeah, she's a little ass. But no, it's been a good time. Um how has it been meeting like random strangers and becoming roommates with them in Lexington?
Honestly, better than I thought. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Like, that's something else. I don't know if we actually talked about. I'm trying to get into real estate, and
Oh
it's like,
no.
yeah. So like, I'm trying to do like learning as much as possible and trying to like get into the business of wholesaling houses. And here in Lexington, Virginia is probably like the worst place to do it because it's super small.
Hmm.
And but like going into a big city, like it's probably a little bit better. But like I started, there's different strategies to go into like real estate. One of
Hmm.
them it's probably house hacking, and that's what I'm currently doing right now. I basically I rented a house, a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. This is a college town. Like we have Virginia Military Institute right in front of my house, and then we have Washington and Lee University right
Hmm.
next to it. So we have a lot of students here, and basically to like not give you the long story, house hacking is you rent a place, you live in one unit, one room, like I'm doing right now, and rent the other ones out. So
Yeah.
that was pretty good. Like I was able to get that arrangement with the landlord. Like told him like, well, if can I sublease the rooms? And she said, well, no, you can't. So can I actually like add more people to the lease? And she said, well, yeah, and you can actually get an agreement with them and charge them rent if you want, and well, do like do that option, which is the same as house hacking. So
Yeah.
basically, I pay a certain amount of rent for the house. I charge them probably a little more than what the rent I pay is. So basically, at the end of the day, I'm probably making like $300 or $400. Like it covers the rent, and I make 300
Yeah.
or $400 on top.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
that's
So you don't
basically
own
house
the
hacking.
house you're living in.
No, not right
Okay.
now.
So
Yeah.
you're just the main lease person though.
Yeah. Well,
That's
yeah. I
legit.
mean, I'm the main roommate. I'm the main roommate.
Yeah.
They're technically in the lease as roommates too, but
Hmm.
like I get like the say on what's happening, and I can like at least rent the rooms out to them and include the
Right
rooms. And
on.
yeah, so it's like I think the highest expense in an American's like life, it's well, house, the
Hmm.
place to live in. So cutting that out, it's kind of like helped me a lot, just savings and like putting a little bit more towards investing,
Yeah.
improving my business, and I think it's something that people like us that we're still like single or we have the flexibility of doing
Hmm.
stuff like this can go a long way in terms of investing and like
Yeah,
growing
for sure.
businesses and like creating that discipline too, because it it's a discipline behind it, because you do need to live with other people, but if you don't mind, it can
Yeah.
go a long way.
No, it's cool. I heard a quote the other day, and it was actually it was from Jim Carrey of all people. But um, if you're not willing to downgrade your life scenario, whether you think that's downgrading or not,
Hmm.
maybe if you like having roommates, then it's an upgrade. But um, if you're not willing to downgrade your living scenario to get to the ability to improve your life, I butchered the quote, don't worry. To get to the life you want, then you care too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
It was really a good quote because like who cares if you live in a cheap apartment for so long, or if you live in like maybe a sketchy neighborhood for a little bit, or you
Hmm.
don't have stainless steel appliances. But
Yeah.
you know, I thought it was interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a good quote, and I mean it's a it's a challenge in the sense that it's a change in mindset, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to be pretty disciplined in order to do it. Like before, I was like, I came out of undergrad, came out of college, and I was like, no, I want to live alone. Like, fuck it, I
Yeah.
don't want to live with anybody. I want to have my space. at the same time, seeing how real estate it is with the bubble we're at and how high prices are, it's like, well, if I can live with somebody, like get that expense out or eliminate it completely, then
Mm-hmm.
probably I'll be like, it's probably money that I'm saving and money that I'm like putting towards like my goals and investing. So it's
Yeah,
like creating that cycle, getting out of that rat race, and like
for sure.
like I kind of feel like it's a step forward towards where I want to go. So it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool. Well, I think we're at an hour here. I don't want, or just
yeah,
under. I don't want to keep you for the whole night, but I appreciate you kind of coming on here and just filling me in on your life, man. Um,
yeah, man.
I
You
have to make it
know
more
how it is.
regular.
I know it probably my story is not as intense as other people in the podcast, but I hope that people here are like at least can like enjoy the story, like
Hmm.
and get a something out of it. You know.
It'll grow. It's just like having people on that I want to talk to. That's what the main purpose of the podcast is to. And the good it says in Spotify, it says Ty Casey talks to people he finds fascinating. Um,
Oh,
and
cool.
so we got to get together, hopefully for a climbing trip in February.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
get your fingers ready so you don't get pumped out right away,
Yeah.
and so you can catch me when I do a massive whip again.
Oh man. Yeah, that's something we didn't talk about in the podcast,
Oh
but
God, I was talking about it with a vet the other day, and I was like, yeah. So basically, the top quick draw was like right there, and then I fell to the ground. Basically, like I landed about a
hmm
foot above. It was
yeah,
sketchy.
you feel like 25 feet, more or less.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was a slightly more, but it was. I didn't like it.
Oh, man. I don't like it either. Like it happened so fast, like all of a sudden we were like banging to each other in the air, just
Well,
hanging from the rope.
I'll always give you props as being a very fast catch on the belay. Like you were on it, and so I'm
Oh man.
thankful
I think
for
it was
that.
just instinct because if not,
Yeah. Well, if you weren't paying attention, then it would just gone right through your hands, which would have been
yeah.
really shitty.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah, you probably hurt yourself pretty bad because you
oh
had a
yeah,
rock underneath.
you'd have had to carry me out.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and
Yeah.
entertaining me for an hour. Alrighty, that was a great episode of the podcast. I really appreciate Javier for coming on. If you hear this, thank you for your time on the podcast. Everybody else, if you like the episode, go ahead, give it a share, give it a review, and look forward to some merch coming soon. I'm making a shirt. I hope you guys enjoy it. But Javier, thanks for coming on, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.